Sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones you were taught to love the hardest. And that's what makes it confusing. Because how do you walk away from someone who shares your blood? But here's the truth. No one really tells you. Not every relationship is meant to be saved, and sometimes peace comes the moment you stop trying. Relatable opening. You've probably been there. You get a message, and your mood instantly drops. Your chest feels tight, even before you open it. Or maybe it's a phone call. You see their name, and something inside you just sinks. It's strange, right? These are the people who are supposed to feel like home, but instead they feel like pressure, like stress, like walking on eggshells. You try to be patient. You try to understand them. You tell yourself, they're family. I have to make it work. So you stay. You keep answering. You keep explaining. You keep forgiving, even when it hurts, even when it drains you, even when deep down you know something isn't right, and maybe, just maybe, you've started to wonder, is it okay to step away? Promise. Let me tell you something honestly. Yes, it is. And today, we're going to talk about the signs, not from a place of anger, but from a place of clarity. Because this isn't about cutting people off out of hate. It's about protecting your peace. It's about choosing yourself without guilt. And once you understand these signs, you'll start to see things differently. Main content, flowing story. There's a moment in life when you stop chasing connection and start choosing peace. And that moment usually comes after you've tried over and over again. The first sign is simple, but painful. You feel worse after talking to them. Not sometimes, not once in a while. Almost every time. You hang up the call and you feel drained. You leave the room and your energy is gone. It's like instead of feeling supported, you feel smaller. I remember someone who used to visit their uncle every weekend. At first, it felt normal. But over time, every visit turned into criticism. Why aren't you doing better? Look at others your age. You'll never succeed like this. At first, he laughed it off. Then he started explaining himself, then defending himself. And one day, he just sat there quietly because he realized no matter what he said, it would never be enough. That's when something clicked. It wasn't a conversation anymore. It was emotional weight. And here's the truth. If someone consistently leaves you feeling worse, that's not love. That's a pattern. Another sign is when respect disappears. Not loudly, not always with shouting. Sometimes it's subtle. They interrupt you. They dismiss your feelings. They talk over you like what you say doesn't matter. Or worse, they joke about things that hurt you. And when you say something, they say, relax, you're too sensitive. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Respect isn't optional. Even in family, especially in family. There was a girl who used to sit quietly at family dinners. Everyone talked over her. Every idea she shared got ignored. Until one day, she stopped speaking completely, and no one noticed. That silence, that was the moment she realized she wasn't being heard. And when you're not heard, you slowly disappear. Now, here's something deeper. The third sign is when you feel like you're always the problem. Everything somehow becomes your fault. You try to explain your side, but it gets twisted. You try to fix things, but somehow you end up apologizing again. It's like you're stuck in a loop. No matter what happens, you're the one who has to adjust. And over time, you start questioning yourself. Maybe I'm too much. Maybe I'm wrong. But here's where things change. You're not always the problem. Sometimes you're just surrounded by people who don't want to take responsibility. And once you see that, you stop blaming yourself for everything. Let me tell you a small story. There was a guy who always tried to keep peace in his family. Whenever there was an argument, he was the one who apologized first, even when it wasn't his fault. Years passed like this, and one day he asked himself, "When was the last time someone apologized to me?" He couldn't remember. That's when it hit him. He wasn't keeping peace. He was sacrificing himself. And that's not the same thing. Another sign is emotional exhaustion. You feel tired, even thinking about them. Not physically tired, mentally tired, like your brain just wants a break. You replay conversations in your head. You think about what you should have said, what you'll say next time, and it never ends. But here's the truth. Healthy relationships don't feel like a constant mental battle. They don't drain your energy. They give you space to breathe. Mid-video rehook. And here's the part most people struggle with. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they get unlimited access to your life. Let that sink in, because this is where everything starts to shift. Another sign. They only show up when they need something. You don't hear from them for weeks, months even. But the moment they need help, they call, they text, they expect, and you respond because you care. But when you need them, they're nowhere, and slowly you start feeling used, like your kindness is being taken for granted, and it probably is. There's also the sign of constant negativity. Every conversation turns heavy. Complaints, blame, drama, no growth, no peace, just negativity, over and over again, and it starts affecting you. Your mood changes, your mindset shifts, because energy is contagious. And if you're always around negativity, you'll start feeling it too. Another one, and this one is quiet but powerful. You feel like you can't be yourself. You filter your words. You hide parts of who you are. You act differently just to avoid conflict. But here's the truth. If you can't be yourself around someone, that connection isn't real. It's performance, and performing is exhausting. Let me share something simple. There was a boy who loved art, but every time he shared it with his family, they laughed. Focus on real things. This won't take you anywhere. So he stopped showing his work. Not because he stopped loving art, but because he got tired of being shut down. Years later, he realized something painful. It wasn't his passion that was wrong. It was the environment. And sometimes you don't need to change yourself. You need to change who you're around. Another sign, they cross your boundaries again and again. You say no, they push. You set limits, they ignore them. And every time you try to stand your ground, they make you feel guilty. But boundaries are not disrespect. They are protection. And people who truly care about you will respect them. And finally, the last sign, you've tried everything. You've communicated, you've explained, you've been patient, and nothing changes. This is important because cutting someone off shouldn't be your first step, but sometimes it becomes your last option. Ending, powerful conclusion, walking away from family is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, not because it's wrong, but because it goes against everything you were taught. You were taught to stay, to endure, To keep the bond alive no matter what. But here's the truth. You are not here to suffer in silence. You are not here to shrink yourself just to keep others comfortable. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to protect your energy. And you're allowed to step away, not with anger, not with hate, but with clarity. Because sometimes distance is not rejection, it's self-respect. And the moment you choose yourself, everything changes. You feel lighter, calmer, stronger, like you can finally breathe again. And maybe, for the first time, you start living your life on your own terms. Soft CTA. If this spoke to you, if you felt even a little understood, consider subscribing. Not for me, but for more reminders like this. Because sometimes we all need to hear the truth, and you deserve peace.